Forge and the rest of the world. Cusimano's was one of a half-dozen Italian eateries on Main Street in Old Forge, an old coal miners' town. Phyllis Michello, the owner-chef of Anthony's down the street, phoned. So too did Russell Rinaldi at Café Rinaldi next door, and other restaurant owners in town. All of them asked the same question. Were his purveyors sending him older product? TJ noticed the difference in the fish. The catch that typically had been caught within 48 hours was now several days out of the water. "I'm starting to make the correlation," TJ said. He began to see the impact of the coronavirus on their business. "We stopped spending money in any way we could," he said. "Ordering less food, cutting down on our alcohol purchase, cutting people's hours." On the second Friday of March, Friday the 13th, temperatures hit a high of 64. The crowd that night was still sparse. That Saturday, Scranton would have held its annual St. Patrick's Day parade. In normal times, that would mean an overflow crowd and fat bar bills both in the main dining room and downstairs in the cellar. This place would have been a total zoo, Nina said. But Scranton canceled its parade. Bob Mulkerin was behind the bar in the cellar that night. Mulkerin was a lifelong old forger who'd started bartending on Saturday nights in 2017, after serving a single term as town mayor. "I care about my kids," was his rationale, both for running and deciding not to run for re-election. Normally, Mulkerin pocketed a couple of $100 in tips on a busy Saturday night. He was lucky if he made $50 that night. A small surprise party was up in the air until a few hours before the guests slated to arrive. They went ahead with the celebration, but the only other people there that night were the battered regulars who parked themselves on the same bar stools night after night. In a room that in normal times practically vibrated with good cheer, the mood was more that of a wake. On Sunday, the mayor of Philadelphia, 2 hours to the south, suspended indoor dining. The governor put the same restrictions on restaurants in the suburbs surrounding Philadelphia and also in Allegheny County, which includes Pittsburgh. TJ recalled the night as a last hurrah, as if people sought one more night out before the inevitable. "It was kind of a good Sunday, which kind of shocked us," TJ said. At the end of the shift, he sat with Jessica Barletta, a waitress who had been with him and Nina since they first opened their doors. She was herself a small business operator with her own dance studio in Scranton. "TJ's like, I'm pretty sure we're not going to be open this Wednesday," Barletta recalled. Cusimano's is closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. I was like, yeah. Pennsylvania's governor, Tom Wolf, made it official that Monday. Restaurants could still offer takeout and delivery, but Wolf signed an order shutting down indoor dining everywhere in the state. TJ's first hours in lockdown were spent largely on his phone, texting or talking with the restaurant's 24 employees. The servers and bartenders tended to have other sources of income, but not his kitchen staff, who needed a paycheck to pay the rent and buy food. That would be his first hard decision. Whom could he afford to keep, if anyone, and whom would he lay off? TJ tried not to think about the timing. A landmark moment for any business is establishing a retirement program for its employees. Finally, he and Nina were making enough to start a 401k for themselves and several longtime employees. They were only a couple of weeks from finalizing a small benefits package that matched an employee's contributions to a retirement fund when the governor issued his shutdown order. The 401k would be added to the list of things that needed to be put on hold for who knew how long. "We had been very blessed," TJ said.